Hey YouTube, there is 1 week left in the season, and I mentioned this in the other video. I expect the news to come today, in which case you're not seeing this video, you're seeing the news, or tomorrow. And I made a joke, I'm like, oh, the new season update is going to come Thursday. And then someone rightly in the comments said, Thursday is American Thanksgiving, which means that Niantic is not going to work on Thursday. They're not going to work on Friday. They're not going to work on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. And then by Monday, you're already looking at the second, and then Season 2 Nerver is the third. So if the news is already out, you're seeing that instead of this. And if you are seeing this, I expect the news to drop tomorrow, so stay tuned for analysis on that, just based on that logic. So speaking about logic and top teams, I have no idea if that makes any sense of a segue. Who cares? Ultra League teams. Not a lot of people want Ultra League teams, but some people do. And in the Ultra League teams, you have the rankings that have not changed much in the season. For Alligator, Clefable, Gastrodon, Giratina, Regisaur, and these are all Weezing. These are all Pokemon that have been top for the entire season. We gotta look at one Pokemon though before we get into some top teams, because it is the new number 3, Rage Fist Primeape. Not surprising, we saw this in Great League as well. With Rage Fist, a very strong upgrade to Primeape. Primeape was already got the buff, got the Karate Chop buff for the season, and then between the Karate Chop Close Combat, it was already pretty good, and it just struggled for a second move. It just at the time used Night Slash, which is 35 for 50, and then you may be thinking 35 for 50 isn't that the exact same as Rage Fist? Yes, but 100% chance of buffing your attack. And when you guarantee that attack buff, that you can then look at that close combat 45 for 120. If you buff that attack and then land a close combat, there is some major damage being done. So with how spammy you are, and then being able to chip even like bad matchups like Cresselia, just now having the super effective Rage Fist that you can buff that attack and then continue to increase damage really makes it a strong Pokemon. But super glassy, needs shields. I like the more the back Pokemon, Lickilicky. Cresselia and Lickilicky are pretty decent because you got some bulk there. For Alligator, Drapion, Drifblim as suggested teammates, these are to a certain extent covering your weaknesses. You're going to be weak to Flying and Fairy. I think you're main two. And Flying, Drifblim has Icy Wind, and then Drapion is Poison. And if you run with a Sludge Bomb, you'd be super effective against Fairies. So Primeape, good Pokemon. I don't have it on the teams here, but you can run it with some of those Pokemon. Again, compare it with a Cress. Honestly, you can do Cress, Lickilicky, and Primeape, right? Just cover your kind of weaknesses like that. Ghost may be a little bit of an issue, but that's where the Lickilicky with the normal typing comes in. Okay, some teams. Now, if you're new to this channel, these will be new. If you're old of this channel, you hit that like button, say, thanks, Dan, appreciate the videos, and get on out of here because you have definitely seen these teams before. But we are looking for new people who want to play Ultra League and are searching this. So, Clefable-Lickilicky, Swampert. Basically, I was going to say balanced team, but it's not quite a balanced team because it's not like Clefable can deal with grass. And if it's a grass poison, you're actually in big trouble. But I do like this overall because Clefairy, as you saw in the rankings, is a top-ranked Pokemon. And that is because the Fairy Wind got buffed this season. So the Fairy Wind doing a little more damage, plus the Moonblast to what was already a meta where you can do a ton of damage with Moonblast against some fighters, some dragons. Giratina has been a meta since day one in Ultra League, so being able to hit super effective, great option. Swift Bait. Gonna have problems primarily with steals, so that is where the Swampert comes in. You can use Gastrodon was ranked higher. You can use Gastrodon. You can use other ground or fighter type Pokemon that can deal with the steals instead of Swampert if you don't want to use Swampert. And then Lickilicky is a safe swap. So basically, if I see a Steel on the lead, or if I see a Poison on the lead, use safe swap into Lickilicky and try and flip switch so that you can eventually align your Swampert on that weakness there. Virizion double poison. Now I used a version of this in the Great League. So I used Chestnut double poison with Drapion and I forget what the other poison was. Maybe Skunk Tank in the Great League. And it worked very, very well. So I tried to transfer it to the Ultra League and it does work well. Now I have Skunk Tank and Tentacruel. You may be thinking, why not Drapion? Isn't Drapion ranked higher? It is. And I actually do. I did not have a Drapion when I built this team, but I do now. So if I was running this team, you can run it either. Honestly, put Drapion in for either one of these and you'll be good. So Virizion, Skunk Tank, Tentacruel, or /Drapion, whichever one you want to use out of those two of those three. Basically, Virizion's weak to flying for sure. Double weak to flying at that. And you don't really have like a flying answer, but you do resist ground as a grass. So poison in the back, stay swap poison, try and draw out a ground type Pokemon. Or a steel type Pokemon is one that you're also trying to draw out. And then chip it, and then come back in with Virizion to beat it, and then your other one roams free. So that's kind of concept behind that team. This, again, not a true ABB team. So when I say ABB, basically what I mean is you have a lead, and then you have two Pokemon in the back that share a weakness. And what you try and do is you try and draw out that weakness with one of the Pokemon, and then your friend Pokemon beat it. So basically with this team, if you don't see a fighter on the lead, you safe swap Lickilicky to try and draw out that fighter. At that point, hopefully you get a fighter, and then Drifblim can beat the fighter as a flying, and then Pangoro, which is also weak to fighting, will have less chance of seeing one. That being said, yes, you can draw a fighter out, but you're still weak to flying on Pangoro. You're still weak to charm on Pangoro, or fairy, I should say. So it's not like a true ABB where they share the same typing to draw out a certain thing, but modified good enough. So basically same thing, what I just said. Like try, and if you don't see a fighter on the lead, try and draw it out with Lickilicky, beat it with Drifblim, and then hopefully Pangoro can run free in the back. This is a more balanced team. Drifblim, Drapion, Registeel. I like Cobalion better, actually, which is why I put in Cobalion after. You are double weak to ground. So you are double weak to ground in the back. But this is one where I didn't feel like I needed to try and draw out a ground. I felt like between the crunches on Drapion and just like the double kicks and Sacred Sword on Cobalion, I felt like I was okay against ground regardless, especially that you have Aqua Tail on Drapion. So you don't need to, even though you are double weak to ground in the back, you don't need to draw out that ground. But if you do see a ground, Drifblim again is a super, super strong answer on the front for that. Drapion is one of the best safe swaps in the Great League, in the Ultra League. So spammy. And then Cobalion. I think Cobalion was really underrated in the Ultra League when I used it. Not a lot were out there. But again, this was I used this pre-Primeape Community Day. So maybe if you see more Primapes, you may be seeing less Cobalion, because Cobalion is half steel and weak to fighting. And then, wow, it does look a lot better with that information. Okay. So for those of you who are new to this channel, what I have started doing is putting the turn counts and how many fast moves it takes to get to the charge moves to get the move off. So just for an example, let's just go for Alligator. It's easiest. Shadow Claw is a 2-turn move. And then to get to the Hydro, it takes 5 Shadow Claws on the first one, 5 Shadow Claws on the second one. I guess I should do one where it's different. Let's go to Skeledirge. Spelt wrong, I think. But Incinerate is a 5-turn move. And Disarming Voice, to get to the first Disarming Voice is 3 5-turn moves. So 3 Incinerates, so 15 turns. But to get to the second Disarming Voice, it is only 2. So 2 Incinerates. So you'll get to the Disarming Voice in 3 Incinerates the first time around and 2 the second time around. Anyways, Dragonite for Alligator, Skeledirge for Alligator, just stay swap. Dragonite on the lead, weak to Ice, weak to Fairy. Skeledirge will deal with that. Skeledirge weak to ground. Dragonite will deal with that, right? So for Alligator, safe swap. Basically, that is how it works. So if you are playing Ultra League, good luck. Honestly, we're just going to be showcasing Great League this week. And if we get the drop in news like I expect, we're in a weird spot. We're in a spot where people want to grind to Legend. If you're in your last week, you want teams to grind to Legend. At the same time, the last week, there is so much hype around the new season, and new moves and what the new moves mean for the next 3 months. So if the news does drop today or tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we focus a lot on the next season and then sprinkle in once that hype comes down. So basically just like capitalize on that hype, really dig into like what the new meta is going to be. Like I do like 2 or 3 videos when the season rolls over. Basically like just beyond the hype, covering all the news. What are the leaks? What are the buff Pokemon? What are the nerf Pokemon? And then I like really go back and think about it. And I go, okay, next video, here are the top 10 meta Pokemon for the next season that I think are really, really going to be strong. Here are 10 Pokemon that I really think are not going to be as strong. So you can get like 3, maybe 4 videos for the new season out of that. And then when that hype calms down after a couple days, then we can probably fill it again with Great League teams. So that is my thought of how I'm going to proceed with that. But good luck if you're trying to hit Legend. I don't think I'm going to hit Leaderboard. I had a kind of rough go towards the end of Retro Cup, and then the game was just lagging like crazy, so I just stopped playing for like 4 days. We'll probably play a bit this week, but we'll see what the new when the news drops. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.